Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome to Apex Racing TV's presentation of the Radical Esports Cup. J.R. Gregory here with you on the call. Beside me in the commentary booth, my partner, Tom Dillon, and in the production here, our friend and colleague, Josh Wilkie. And just a quick shout out to Josh. Lost his dog, Daisy, a few days back, and our hearts go out to Josh and everybody else in his family that loved Daisy. I know that can be rough, but in any event, here we go. We are so pleased to be back broadcasting these Radical Esport Cup races. We are starting 2024 Season 3 and the start of today's show. The Radical SR10, 425 horsepower and only 725 kilos, no traction control, no ABS. And folks, we are showing the top split of the public server as we do every Friday at 2100 GMT. So you can join that public server and appear with us here on Apex Racing TV if you make the top split. And I guarantee you that you'll have a good time in this Radical. They are a handful, but mastering the SR10 will make you better at every car that you drive. And listen to this upcoming schedule, 2024 Season 3, Red Bull Ring, Suzuka, Laguna Seca, Road Atlanta, Silverstone, Monza, Road America, Sebring, and a finale at Green Hell. So all the tracks that you want to drive in a fantastic car. And here we are today, season opener, obviously at Spa. Francorchamps Spa is in the Belgian countryside outside the municipality of Stavelot. Began life as a racing circuit comprised strictly of public roads, hosting its first race in 1922, and 100 years ago in 1924 held its first 24-hour race, and in 1925 its first Grand Prix. And as you know, as any race fan would know, it is currently host to Formula One, WEC, European Le Mans, and many, many others. Our current configuration, 4.3 miles, 7 clicks, 20 corners. The current record held by Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes W09 F1 car. Valtteri put down a 146.286. And Tom, I have run a couple of races here in public sessions this week, and I got to tell you, this track and this car, a brilliant combination. The high speed and medium speed sweepers and the long straightaway really show off everything that this Radical does fantastically. And I'm really looking forward to this race. What do you think?
Yeah, of course, I can concur with that. JR, it's the second longest track we've got on the calendar, which technically you wouldn't expect to what's the word? What is the word? Oh, I've had a great start to the season, haven't I, here? You wouldn't expect to work with the Radicals. That sentence couldn't have gone much worse. But actually, weirdly, it does. Same thing goes for MX-5s around here or something like that. Just the smaller cars. I mean, the cars look very, very small on this racetrack, but there's so many overtaking opportunities, you know, all the way through Sector 3 as you go down into Campus Corner and places like that. All places where you can actually make moves. You wouldn't necessarily be able to do that in a high downforce car like a Formula 1 car, an LMP1 car or something that you would also expect to race around here. Lap times very slow, but as we said, these cars can still kick on to about 180 mile an hour, so they still have a pretty big kick.
Yeah, absolutely. And these cars are an absolute hoot here as we watch Doms go through Blanchimont here. And if you're used to driving a GT3 car, I'm a Porsche GT3 driver, and Blanchimont always makes your heart come up in your throat just a little bit if you've reduced the wing in order to get whoa, a little wiggle there coming out of the bus stop. But if you go light wing, get past down Kemmel, Blanchimont can be sketchy. And in this Radical, no drama whatsoever. Vermont is flat. Eau Rouge is flat. And as we see week after week, these cars generate a powerful slipstream on that Kemmel straight. And to me, one of the main indicators of mastery here at Spa is being able to make the outside move into Lake Home. People are vulnerable to the slipstream coming off the Kemmel straight, but it's very easy to defend the inside line there. So if you want to make something happen and overcome that inside defense, you got to break deep and on the outside and beat them to the second apex of that chicane. And very, very tough to do. And if you see somebody pull that move off, they are a master of Spa. So we'll be looking for that today for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one, of course, the bus stop chicane, which I was going to say newly remodeled, but this is obviously an old version of the circuit, and that bus stop chicane still reflected here. So about 20 years now they've had that new bus stop chicane. That is a major overtaking opportunity, perhaps more than what came before. We've got the checkered flag out in the qualifying session, so everyone jumps out of qualifying. And JR Gregory, you can take us through when it pops onto our screen, the grids.
Yeah, and these time, folks, oh my goodness. I was patting myself on the back quite enthusiastically when I broke into the 213s with a draft. But look at Iani there, breaks that 213 barrier and gets the pole position with a 2:12.968. That is smoking. Oh my goodness. And next to him on the front row, Franco Sanchez. Behind them will be Stengel and last season's champion, multiple season champion, actually, James Berry in P4. Behind them in 5 and 6, it's Gabriel Berger and Kjetil Larson, Woodward and Flo Doms. Behind them, Samir Kadura next to Rafa Blanco there in 9 and 10. Christopher Otterholt in P11 next to Mickey Stengel in P12. And as we scroll away, there is Jorge Gonzaga next to Jorge De Leon. Dennis Karpolis there in 15. Next to him, Sali Reitinen in 16. And Henry Howarth will be there in P17. And there are a handful of names here, and I'm hopeful that means we got some more people interested in running in this fantastic series and driving these Radicals. It could just be that we are at Spa. It's one of those tracks that attracts people because of the track less than the car, but it's great to see some new names out here. We had 4 splits here today, and hopefully that bodes well for the coming season. But as the clock ticks down here, we are looking at Iani there. He's in the number 4 car on the left-hand side of the screen. We are taking the start from a standing start on that short, old or modern pit entry straight rather. And so Iani is going to have the inside line into La Source. Low speed hairpin for the first time. And remember, no traction control, no ABS, and no warm-up lap here. So we are dead cold making that chaotic dash down to turn 1 for the first time, and there go the lights, and we are green. 2023 season 3 underway. Iani gets away clean. Looks like it's going to stay Iani from Sanchez. Barry managed to push himself ahead of Stengel. Stengel falls again potentially. Looked like Larson had a nose ahead of him, but he has regained that position, so it's going to be Iani from Barry from Sanchez, and Barry has worked his way up 2 positions now. He had struggled with a few starts last season, but those struggles appear to be behind him at Spa. There's some side-by-side side action. That is Woodward next to maybe Strumbach in there through Eau Rouge. And here we go, Tom. We're looking forward to a great race here. It's Bach.
Oh, my word, it all kicks off.
Speaking of Woodward, oh my goodness, there goes half the field, and the pink spinner had to be Robert Woodward, and he took a couple cars with him. We'll check back and see who got swept up in that one, but it is still Ianni from Barry, from Sanchez, from Stengel, from Cadora will be your top 5. And my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4 cars on the flatbed now heading back to the pits. And those drivers wanted to start the season in that manner.
It's a pretty terrible start to the season. Woodward, Dams, Stengel, and Jorge de Leon. All of our drivers that have gone careering off the racetrack on the start of this race down that Kemmel Straight. It's such a difficult straight to run, sort of 4 wide on. Here we go. They were 5 wide actually, and I can't, oh my word, I can't quite see what happened. I think it was the white and teal car in the background. Obviously the green car in the background certainly didn't help himself at all. I think that all stemmed from the white and teal car. Just sort of went to the inside line, couldn't quite find his way through. He was almost cutting someone across. Keep an eye on that car then as they make their way through here. Oh no, white and green car on the outside line. They sort of came together and almost 2 into 1 didn't quite go. And that sent about 4 or 5 cars off of the racetrack and everyone else just following in.
My goodness, and that whole pack of cars packed tightly with each other, 3 and 4 wide there, and that is going to turn into a yard sale on Kemmel as cars are waiting to be dragged back to the pits, and the fans are helping themselves to pieces of these radicals. They're alongside the straight, and here we are completing lap 1. It is still Ianni from Barry, from Sanchez. Barry looking good, moving up 2 positions. Samir Kadura has moved up 4 positions up into P5, and a lot of movement, of course, in the back of the field with that major kerfuffle. And we're going to be settled down now here at the risk of jinxing these drivers. We're going to be settled down. We're nose to tail here as we start lap 2, and the drivers are going to fall into their rhythm. Lap 2 of 11 here as we're heading the Kemmel Straight speed for the first time today.
So competitive of the start of this one. We've got 2 wide running both for the lead of the race and for second position as well. This is Ianni under pressure, Sanchez on the outside line as they head down into Lake Como. It's that inside line that JR was talking about earlier on, but it's a brave move from Sanchez is falling down in the background. Rafa Blanco Sr. is going to lose out on a couple of positions. Franco Sanchez then your new race leader, but for how long? Ianni, Barry even under pressure from Cadora, who goes all the way around the outside, very, very brave into Bruxelles, and not quite able to find a way through. James Barry holds on for the time being, and you can see on board with Samir Kadara just how interesting this race has been already. All of the drivers being very, very attritional. We've got 4 drivers out of the race, as I mentioned, a 5th one spinning around, but the battle of the lead couldn't be much closer.
My goodness, what an epic move by Sanchez. I talked about that in the intro, and I'm going to go ahead and give Sanchez the Lake Como merit badge here. And you're seeing Ianni and Barry there trying to cover off the inside. Sanchez, you have to brake deep, and head for that second apex, and he gets it done. Absolutely textbook move there by Sanchez as he moves into P1. Fantastic stuff.
Really fantastic stuff for sure, as now Ianni looking to challenge for the lead of the race. This is into the bus stop chicane. He might actually find himself under a bit more pressure from James Barry, who finds a lot of pace on this lap, as now here is Ianni. He's definitely in range. He goes to the outside line. It'll have to be the long way around. James Barry looking to the inside line. Oh, he takes out his teammate. There just wasn't the space for it. 3 cars go around. Samir Kadara being one of them. Dennis Karakopoulos now on the inside line in the background, but they'll have to navigate this melee as the yellow flags fly in the air. That was James Barry. I just don't think his teammates saw him coming. He went down the inside line, and I'm not going to say he got turned in on, because I honestly don't think the move was on there, but that's a rare mistake from a driver as fine as James Barry is.
Yeah, tough stuff there, and shades of Mercedes teammates coming together at Ba. Oh my goodness, and you really don't want that to happen. The guys all work together, practice together, probably on Discord together, and that is going to be for Barry, who falls all the way to P12. Unknown what kind of damage he may have sustained there, but he certainly got turned and had to wait for the cars to stream by to rejoin. And boy, really tough start for a few of these drivers. And now it's Sanchez from Gonzaga, from Oderholt, from Kadura, from Reitnen. And as I said, Oderholt, a new name to me in this series. So it's good to see some new blood and see some folks that we haven't seen before pressing for the podium here on lap 3.
And, well, some new faces at the top of the order. It's been pretty intense action so far. Franco Sanchez then ahead of Jorge Gonzaga, Christopher Otterholt, and Samir Kadari has actually got himself back into the running for those podiums. This is a move as it's Sully Rattinen on the outside line. The distinctive colour scheme on that number 9 car can't find a way around the outside, and Gabriel Berger actually has a little bit of a look at him, but again, there isn't really that opportunity opening up for him into the right-hander. They go, and Sully Rattinen looking to get that exit as they make their way through into turn 16, down the straight, all the way up to Blanchemont. Let's see if Sully Rattinen can formulate a move here. He's going to go to the outside line. It's the long way round as they head up to Blanchemont. This would be a brave move, and I think Samir Kadara is going to be sensible in backing out there.
Yeah, the draft is not only working here on Kemmel. Now we're back with Berger, and he's going to try the outside entry into bus stop. It's another place where you can kind of break deep on the outside, as we saw Sanchez do so brilliantly at the beginning, but he's not able to get that done at this point. And Barry trying to fight his way back, fallen to P11 or 12. He's now up to P8. And we're going to take another look at the incident between Barry and his teammate Iani. And my goodness, really interesting to see that. And folks, these guys are teammates. They are on comms on Discord right now during the race. And gosh, it's hard to come up with a good explanation or excuse for teammates coming together in that situation. And my goodness, Tom, look at Jorge Gonzaga. He is up 11 positions to be sitting in P2. So, we don't see a lot of attrition in these radical races, but we're certainly seeing some here, and Gonzaga is making it work for him.
Yeah, and it was sloppy from James Barry, I'm afraid to say. Not to put it against him, as we said, it's very rare he makes contact with drivers, now on the comeback trail, but under a little bit of pressure from Henry Howarth on the outside line as they make their way through into Bruxelles, but just about able to stay where he is. James Barry making their way through Speaker's Corner and stays as it is in that battle for 7th position. In fact, if he can get himself into the top 7, James Barry, then he can start to chase after maybe even the top 5, and possibly you don't quite know what's going to happen after that. Lap 4 of 11 in this race. This is actually a quarter distance of a Formula 1 race, for those who are wondering. So very long time for these radicals, possibly the longest race that we've got in terms of distance, I would say as well, JR. But lap times at the moment just show us that Franco Sanchez, the number 1 seed, is controlling the race as perhaps we would have expected.
A full second above Gonzaga, and he's aided, I think, nothing, not to take away from Sanchez, but he's aided in part due to some of the faster drivers getting knocked out here early, and now people who could be challenging him for that fast lap are held up in traffic. And here Berger's going to try that outside entry to the bus stop again, and you would think that a little bit of a switchback there is possible out of that bus stop, but it's such a tight and difficult corner that you got to beat the car in front of you to that second apex, or there's really nothing you can do at that point. And here's Berger getting a nice exit out of Le Source Critical to blast down the hill here toward Eau Rouge. And we'll ride along with Berger here for a moment, looking ahead to Solly Reitnen. That is P5, looking forward to P4, and a significant gap behind them. So these cars starting to train up somewhat, and here comes that draft already. Berger is going to slip past Reitnen. We'll see if Reitnen wants to take a peek on the inside. No, it looks like Reitnen is just going to tuck in, and I spoke too soon. He moves over. Last of the late breakers, as our colleague Ron Mons would say, and he manages to stick it in there. And Berger really seemed like he had that one, and maybe got a little lackadaisical on the defense there, and allowed Reitnen back through.
Absolutely, as we've got someone off on the driver's left there. That's Mayon Iani rejoining the race after his earlier contact. I would imagine he's rejoined the race at some point, and he's just gone into the pits finally to get that damage repaired and just see what kind of run he can have. He's rejoined just ahead of a bit of lap traffic, I believe. I'm trying to identify that car just behind him. I don't have the relative. It's Flo Darms, actually, that's just ahead of him. And oh no, apparently not. I'm not 100% sure then who just behind Iana. It's Richie Stanchel. So there is a lap between those two runners, and that's not a very healthy Radical at all. That's number 15, the entire front portion of that car being totally taken off. And just look at the understeer that he's struggling with as well. You don't realise actually how downforce dependent these cars are, and into Bruxelles goes. And he's almost having to hold the steering wheel to left to turn right. Just because of a little bit of suspension damage he's got going, as I said, not a lot of downforce on that car as well. And as I was saying, these cars are very downforce dependent. Here goes Dennis Kirikopoulos on the outside line, looking to get in or stay in 8th position. Howarth on the outside line, Larson on the inside line. They're all going to squeeze through into the bus stop chicane, and Howarth on the inside line will just about get clear of Dennis Kirikopoulos into 8th position. A very brave move and a very well made move.
Yeah, sweet one by Howarth, and that's going to get merit badge number 2, making that outside burn into the bus stop. Great car control there, and great finding threshold braking. And Tom, it is so tough to find your braking point coming off that back straight into the bus stop. It's very easy to overslow there, and to outbrake somebody and make a pass takes a lot of practice finding the limits under braking into these Radicals. A great move. And here we are riding with Blanco now. Is he going to get a 3-for-1 here? Oh my goodness. It looks like he does. There's how you take advantage of the draft, although he's still vulnerable on the outside. Did that outside move into Liscombs? But no, he is going to hang on to that one, and a really sweet move there by Blanco as Kirikopoulos looks ahead at him. This little train forming up, and a little bit more dicing. Larson looking ahead at Howarth, not satisfied to let him get away after that epic pass into the bus stop.
Absolutely, Gabriel Berger into 3rd position. Sully Ratton, I imagine, will be looking at that podium. I don't think I've seen him on the podium yet inside of the Radicals. Certainly, it's not a place that he often finds himself, but he is a very good driver consistently inside of Split 1. And possibly this is a chance to get a season off to a flying start, especially in the relative absence of series champion, of course, in James Barry, who's up to 6th position, by the way. I don't know if we were able to catch that. Jorge Gonzaga, 2nd position at the moment as well. There's a flurry of off-tracks going on down the left-hand side. As you can see, a few people just bouncing around with red as Stanchel is out of the race. We've got a replay of James Barry then. This is him making that move for 6th place. Catches a lot of time through Eau Rouge. Very important to keep your foot in through that corner, and then the second you get to the outside, down the Kemmel straight, pretty much that is a job done. And well, that number 10 car happy to just tuck in behind, and possibly sensibly so as well.
Yeah, Barry, not much of a challenge there, and you're absolutely right, Tommy. You got to keep it pinned there in Eau Rouge. You got to be brave there, and you can tell when somebody does it, whether it was his brain chickening it out there or his foot. There's definitely a little lift there, and very, very costly. You got to absolutely keep it floored. And here is Oderholt looking ahead at Reitinen, and he is going to have a run here. See what kind of defense that Reitinen decides to play, and maybe be able to get a little draft off of Berger as well. So this 3-car train heading into Lacombe, and we'll see what is going to happen here. Staying nose to tail for the time being, but that one is not over. Some fantastic dicing going on up and down this field as usual.
Absolutely, as down to the inside line goes Henry Howarth, trying to squeeze away through, but Larson holds on. This is interesting because Howarth, as he furiously flashes his lights, first time I've realised these Radicals have got lights actually. I suppose we did race at Nürburgring last season, so maybe I should have realised before, but he's fallen down the order, hasn't he? Quite significantly. He was battling for that sort of 8th position, now falls even behind Larson in 9th, and still no way through as they made their way all the way through Speaker's Corner and down into Huon. Really, this has been a dramatic fall down the order for him.
It has, and but again, because of various kerfuffles here and there throughout the field, Howard's still up 7. But that may not be saying much. I'm counting 5 cars now off the lead lap. Nobody has retired that I can see, but certainly a lot of tows going on. And you saw Stengel take a tow, or well, maybe not. I thought I saw Stengel go to the pits, and there he is. That steering wheel is crooked. The nose is missing. There's no front downforce, but his legs and feet have got to be nice and cool at this point in the race, Tom.
Yeah, well, it's in the middle of summer, isn't it? And I suppose probably a nice break from well, I suppose Spa not known for its hot weather, but you can see his legs and feet through the car. I'm not sure if this was real life, he wouldn't be getting a black and orange technical flag here, but it's not real life, and he's able to move on. I think the more pressing matter of this is that I've just noticed iRacing doesn't render the legs and feet of the driver model. As here down the inside line goes Howarth, getting himself past Samir Kadura.
Yeah, as that fighting goes on, Howarth, Kadura, and Kirakapolis there all fighting. It looks like the 3 of them are closing in on Larson up ahead, and there may have been a change of position up front. You said that you thought Reitinen was going to get Berger, and that may have just happened in the Lacombe. And Kirakapolis ends up in the grass there. Little unfriendly hip check, and Denis lucky to keep it out of the barrier there. And that was Kadura kind of giving him the brush off there. And well, I could editorialize about Samir right now due to my experience in the prior outing, but I won't do that. Let's just watch what unfolds here in live act. Or no, is this a replay, Josh? Yeah. Seen a little replay. Saw a little bit of that weave there that sent Denis off into the grass, but Kadura elbows out. And I don't know if you remember a couple seasons ago, there was some controversial moves by him that kind of had the radical community in an uproar. But rubbing is racing, as they say, Tom.
Rubbing is racing, and I think that's been the story of the day. Actually, inside of this one, they seem to have been allergic to making clean passes. Some of our drivers, Christopher Ottholt, here he is looking for that 3rd position again. Sully Rattanen is in 3rd. These guys have been racing cleanly, in credit to them. And now to the inside line goes the number 11. Have I spoken too soon? Sully Rattanen holds it on the outside line, and Gabriel Berger has to take to the inside line. He'll surely let Sully back through, and he does. That's fair enough. I think I'll have a slow down for that as well. This might allow James Barry to make his way through. It certainly helps James Barry get into the contention for those top 5 places. He, with 3 laps to go, looks to the outside line as I think the slowdown continues here for Berger, who almost lets James Barry through because of that. So we got a significant penalty. That's unleashed James Barry to chase after for the podium. He probably won't with 3 laps to go, but if he's able to catch up and get on the back of that 3rd and 4th place runner, then I'm sure there's a good chance for him.
Yeah, Barry would need to catch up with Otterholt there. And yeah, that blowing the bus stop there is one of the most brutal penalties in iRacing. I'm going to say it's a 3 or 4, maybe 5-second slowdown there. So you saw the driver wasn't even able to burn it off on the approach to the source there and had to let Barry by. So now it's Sanchez from Gonzaga from Reitinen, from Otterholt from Barry. Barry's got about a 2-second gap to Otterholt, but if he can catch Otterholt, he might have a crack at the podium. But as you said, Tom, just a couple of laps remaining here. And meanwhile, look at Sanchez. He has driven away, and Gonzaga enjoying a 3.5-second gap behind him to P3. So what a race for Jorge Gonzaga. And, you know, sometimes you get the elevator, sometimes you get the shaft. And Jorge has ridden that elevator up 11 positions. And right behind him, Solly Reitinen up 13 positions. So steps 2 and 3 in the podium together have advanced 24 positions in this race, and that is nuts. That is not something that we usually see in the top split of one of these radical races, but things a bit chaotic here for sure.
This has been one of the most chaotic races I think I've ever watched in the Radicals, and Jorge Gonzaga, probably one of the drivers of the day. Obviously Franco Sanchez, very proudly sporting his trophy there in his profile picture on the driver card. He's been the class of the field, absolutely. 3.6 seconds. The gap. We have got a quick replay going on for Sully Rattinen. I don't know if this was his battle for the lead or if there was an off-track that he had as makes his way into the Lacombe chicane. On the inside line, there's a driver spinning off in front of him. This is how he picked up a few positions and actually just parting the seas, allowing drivers to make their way through. And they all spin around, and that was Sully Rattinen making the most of it. As here's the battle for third position. This is how he made that third spot. To the right-hander he goes of Bruxelles, and just down the inside line. That was nicely done.
Yeah, really smooth, good driving by everybody here, and that's something that we see frequently in these races. And here is Larson. Is that Larson getting by Howarth, as those two have been linked by a lengthy rubber band here for a lot of this one, and Larson making a pass there into Les Combs. And oh my gosh, and any French speakers out there, I know I'm saying that horribly wrong. I'm going to blame my American education on that, but there goes Larson, and see if he can create a gap behind him and get away from Howarth. And meanwhile, again, up front, we're on lap 10 of 11, and it is Sanchez from Gonzaga from Otterholt, and I don't see any signs of that changing. And it looks like Barry has gotten Reitinen. Oh, is there a change of position there? Okay, got discombobulated there for just a second, but Barry has gotten that gap up to Reitinen down to 1.5, but running out of time, Tom. He may have to be happy with P5, which is actually pretty good considering that incident into the bus stop.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the benefit of it. He's still picking up a few points, is our series champion as he heads on to his final lap. If there's anything happening here between Sully Rattinen and Otto Holtz, he'll be right on the back of the train. In fact, I wouldn't rule that out, as here goes Sully into the bus stop chicane. He goes, he's braking marginally later than Otto Holt, but doesn't try and make a move. Instead, he's going to try and cut the lines across here, making their way down into turn one. He knows he wants to not give that slipstream as they head down the Kemmel Straight. He wants to make that move as simply as possible. Into turn one they go. The battle for the podium positions as the white flag is in the air. Out of the first corner they go then, and Sully Rattinen will look to follow him all the way up the hill, through Eau Rouge, through Radion, and hopefully try and get a podium position at the end of it. Here we go on the final lap of the race. Eau Rouge, the most difficult corner on the racetrack, just about holding onto the car here, but Sully Rattinen gets the better exit, gets the run to the outside line, to the inside line as they make their way up into Lacombe. This will be an interesting one because moving off desperately to try and defend it. It's so close between the two of them. It's here. Back to the inside line goes Christopher Otterholt. James Barry catching up. He's going to be finally in the equation as we head towards the end of this lap. It's Sully Rattinen into third position, but the battle between third, fourth and fifth could not be any hotter right now.
Yeah, and my goodness, Barry loving what he's seeing in front of him right now. Reitinen and Otterholt dicing it up there into Lacombe, and as a result, Barry has gotten that gap down to 0.3 seconds now. He's only 0.3 ahead of him, and there will be another passing opportunity potentially here into the bus stop. So Barry within striking distance of moving up significantly here, and will he roll the dice again in the bus stop, which is where the tragedy struck him with his teammate Yanni earlier in this one. So my goodness, good stuff unfolding here as we come down to the end of the last lap under a white flag.
As out of the right-hander they go, turn 16, then into turn 17, and finally the run down into Blanchimont. James Barry needs to get two positions in two corners here. It probably going to evade him. Sully Rattinen probably will hold on to that third position, but there might be a fourth in the running for James Barry. He'll get a bit of a consolation prize in that, but it's looking unlikely. In fact, the battle for third might start to develop here as Sully Rattinen forced to defend that inside line, trying to hold on to it on the inside line. James Barry now dives down the inside, gets the position. One more to go though for him as he gets the exit out of the final corner. Winner of the race, Franco Sanchez. A bit of a drag race between James Barry and Sully Rattinen, but it's Sully Rattinen in third position. Obviously his first podium of the season at the first race of the season. Another really good drive as well for Jorge Gonzaga, who finishes in second position. What a strong run it is for him.
Yeah, fantastic run by Gonzaga, and hopefully he'll stop by and chat with us. Always like talking to Jorge. I'll tell you, right, he's got a huge grin on his face right now. He loves racing. He loves driving these radicals, and I think he loves life, Tom. He's definitely a very cheerful guy. And here is a replay of Barry's move here now, as car in front needing to go defensive. And watch Barry. Whoop! Follows him straight through on the inside line. And oh my goodness, I don't think Otterholt saw that coming. He was just focused on the car ahead, and Barry taking advantage there. Really nice move into the bus stop.
Absolutely, and that's why James Barry is probably one of the best drivers on the grid, because he's able to just dig in and recover like that, and that was a very, very mighty recovery for sure. We've got your race results for you. They're just loading up as everything's working out in the background at the moment, and well, meanwhile, we can see this replay of the race start. Also waiting for a couple of drivers to jump in for interviews as well. That will be going on in a couple of moments time, but well, I'm just sort of stalling now until we get the results up on our screen. Overall, is oh, here they are. They're kicking into gear, and they do kick into gear to reveal that Franco Sanchez wins in dominant style in the first race of the season, 4.6 seconds ahead of Jorge Gonzaga, the Portuguese driver, 8th seed, having a really fantastic run up to second position. Sully Rattenham busy throughout the course of that race, fends off a late challenge after making a late challenge on the podium position, fends off a late challenge from James Barry for that third. Christopher Otterholt finishes in 5th. Gabriel Berger is in 6th position with Kati Larson in 7th. Then it's Rafael Blanco Senior, Henry Howarth, and Samir Kirakopoulos. Dennis Kirakopoulos, the rest of your top 10. Samir Kadara is in 11th position with Myron Iani and Flo Dams, the rest of your top 13. Michi Stangel is in 14th position. All of these drivers, by the way, DNFing or at least having multiple laps down. Jorge de Leon, Sebastian Stangel, and Robert Woodward, the rest of your order. So, JR, we've got an interview as we see the absolute carnage out on the screen. Jorge Gonzaga is in the box.
Hello.
Yeah, and good evening, Jorge, and just tell us how you're feeling after pulling off that P2.
Well, I need to say it was down to pure luck. I was looking at the replay, and I'm not sure if I should owe an apology to Flo and Robert. I think Flo was sending a message after. Like, I was keeping my line. I know it was a bit dubious and caused that chaos in lap 1. But yeah, I was completely not expecting. I had a horrible qualifying, and I thought, okay, this is not going to be a good race. And then when I noticed I'm in P2 and just keeping the gap to Gabriel and Sully, Sully was quite fast, and Christopher as well. We worked really well together. And then I was lucky that Christopher had a bit of a wide into one of the corners. But yeah, I'm very happy. P2, yes, good points.
Yeah, fantastic drive, and that is a plus 11 for you from your qualifying position, and only bested by Reitman behind, picking up 13. And yeah, we're looking at the replay of that little incident now, and yeah, that is a tough one. It looked to me like somebody, like you were tracking straight and someone moved into you. And Josh is going to spin that backward for us here one more time, and we'll get a focus on your car. Yeah, I'm going to say not guilty, man.
Look,
yeah.
It was tough. I think Flo was trying to go into the gap. That's what I noticed. And then I think, yeah, it was really tight spot, and we had a bit of a contact, which kind of caused the instability, and then it caused the whole chaos. But I was trying to keep my line, like, I don't know. If it was my fault, I do apologize to Flo. It was really not my intention. And yes, I'm sorry if it ruined his race and Robert's as well. But yeah, it's racing in the end of the day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a great start to your season, and the schedule is looking pretty good for season 3 here. So any highlights ahead that you're any of these tracks you're looking forward to visiting in the Radical?
Alton next week, right? So yeah, the Alton is my favorite. Is my favorite track. It's amazing. I love British tracks. I love Brands Hatch. I love Alton. Anything that doesn't have more than a 500 meter straight, it's kind of my jam. So I'm really looking forward to next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're looking forward to that as well. These Radicals always put on a great show at Alton Park. They're very well suited for it. And the drivers do really well there in this series. I think that's why it keeps popping up week after week. So we'll be looking forward to Alton as well. And Jorge, before we conclude here, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today?
Well, to the whole Radical community for another season. Obviously, we're back in strength with 3 splits. We haven't seen that in a while. To you guys as well for coming back for another season, which amazing commentary, and I love you guys. I love the excitement you guys bring to this league. And to my teammates as well, Myron, Franco, sorry, Myron, James, and oh my God, Andreas, and also a shout out to Franco for a great victory. He's a really good driver, really nice guy, and congrats to him for a great victory today.
Yeah, for sure. And when you watch the replay, you'll enjoy his move to take P1 into Lacombe there. It was absolutely nuts. So, well, thank you very much for stopping by, Jorge. It's always great to talk to you, and we will see you next week.
Okay. See you guys. Bye-bye.
All right. And it looks like we also have James Berry lurking around outside, Tom. So I'll go ahead and bring him in.
James, welcome back to the broadcast. First of all, very well done on that recovery drive back to 4th position. But first of all, I think we should address the elephant in the room, which is that incident down at the bus stop chicane. Just a misjudgment on your part?
Yeah, I mean, not too big a deal because it's my teammate, my friend Myron, so we'll both get over it. But yeah, it was a shame that it happened because obviously we wanted to fight for that win. And yeah, it was just a situation of, there's the slipstream going into a heavy braking zone. It's always difficult braking there. And maybe I think I just braked too late because I was planning to just stay behind Myron. And at the last minute, I kind of realized I might have been going into the back of him. So I kind of moved to the inside where the space was. And it was too late. Obviously, he wasn't expecting that to happen. So he closed the door and yeah, that's what happened.
And well, in terms of the recovery drive, you got your head down very, very well, and was actually battling for that podium on the final lap. It was probably just a lap short from that podium, but how did you get the head down and just get that pace together?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course, when you have good pace, you can make your way through the field, and it's just about how many laps you have, really. Obviously, I probably had pace for the win if I had enough laps, but I don't know. Yeah, you just get your head down and have some fun with it, get some good overtakes, and hope that people don't fight you too hard. And yeah, it was fun at the end. Nice overtake into the last corner. I was happy with that.
And finally, anyone you want to shout out on at the stream? I'm sure we'll be speaking to you many times this season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but no, obviously you guys as always, and everyone who shows up and who enjoys the broadcast races. It's always good fun. Thank you guys.
Thank you, James Barry. And, well, JR, that is all from me. A very, very entertaining race with a fascinating finale. This season is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it absolutely will. And folks, you are going to want to stop back by next week, Friday, 2100 GMT for Alton Park. It is a fantastic track, tailor-made for these cars, or the cars tailor-made for it, either way, but it is great racing every time. And we are not just about these Radicals here on Apex Racing TV. Sunday, this weekend, is packed with action. Ray Esports and Sim Motion are going to present the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors at aforesaid Alton Park. Also, Ray Esports Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors at Lime Rock, and Racing Unleashed is going to return to Rainy Spa for another TCR battle there on right here at Spa, but much wetter. And Monday starts the week off strong with Rickmatech Sports Cars bringing multi-class racing to Ochersleben. And yeah, that is going to wrap it for us. So J.R. Gregory here on behalf of my partner Tom Dillon and our producer Joshua Wilkie. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Friday and have a fantastic weekend.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www